What happened to Scott Peterson? Inside his life in prison over 20 years after he was convicted of murdering Laci Peterson. December 24, 2002. A pregnant woman vanishes. Laci Peterson, 8 months along with her unborn son Conner, disappeared from Modesto, California. Hope dwindled as months passed. Then the unthinkable. Laci and Conner's bodies were discovered in the unforgiving waters of the San Francisco Bay. Suspicion immediately hardened around one figure, Scott Peterson, Laci's husband. His story? A solitary fishing trip to that very bay on the day his wife vanished. But the facade cracked. Scott's infidelity surfaced, a dark secret that would haunt him in the eyes of the jury. His behavior after Laci's disappearance was unsettling. Red flags billowed in the wind, visible to everyone but perhaps himself. April 18, 2003. The arrest. Inside Scott's car, a chilling inventory. A gun, a substantial sum of cash, multiple cell phones, camping gear, and an attempt to alter his appearance. Give a like and subscribe. Leave a comment. June 1, 2004. The trial began in Redwood City. The prosecution painted a grim picture. Scott's motive was greed, a $250,000 life insurance policy. Amber Frey. Her testimony, her recorded phone calls with Scott, became a dagger in his defense. The jury listened, captivated and horrified. Guilty. First-degree murder for Laci, second-degree murder for Conner. The verdict echoed through the courtroom, a death knell for Scott's freedom. I was staggered by the guilty verdict, Scott would later claim, but the jury had spoken. The death penalty. The jury's recommendation, upheld by the judge in March 2005, an eye for an eye, a life for two. Juror John Guanasso pointed to the Amber Frey tapes. He called them key evidence, the unraveling of Scott's carefully constructed lies. San Quentin State Prison, a place of shadows and despair. Yet Scott adjusted, perhaps too quickly. Attention flowed in. Letters, visits, a strange sort of support for a convicted killer. He maintained his innocence, a mantra repeated in the face of overwhelming evidence. He projected a positive attitude, a mask worn in the darkness. Reports indicated he was in good physical condition. A stark contrast to the fate he inflicted on Laci and Conner. Then a bizarre twist. Scott's name appeared on a list of inmates receiving unemployment benefits during the COVID-19 pandemic. A woman was charged with fraudulently collecting those benefits using Scott's identity. Even behind bars, his name was a magnet for the macabre. Innocence. A word Scott clung to, a lifeline in the sea of his conviction. He sought a retrial, a chance to rewrite history. His attorneys argued he was denied a fair trial. Juror misconduct, they claimed, tainted the process. Rochelle Nice. Her background, her book authorship, became points of contention. Was she impartial? Or was she biased from the start? New evidence emerged, challenging the prosecution's timeline. Whispers that Laci was alive longer than initially believed. Witness testimonies surfaced, casting doubt on the established narrative. Could the truth be more complex, more sinister than anyone imagined? A victory, of sorts. Scott's death penalty sentence was overturned due to errors in jury selection. A reprieve from the ultimate punishment. The California Supreme Court ordered an additional review of his case, a glimmer of hope in the abyss. We sentenced to life in prison without parole. The death penalty was gone, but freedom remained elusive. Laci Stramley, their pain, their anger, palpable at the sentencing hearing. Justice, they believed, had been served, though the wound would never heal. December 2022, Scott's request for a new trial was denied. The door slammed shut, seemingly for good. January 2024, a new chapter. The Los Angeles Innocence Project, LAIP, took on Scott's case. Their mission to investigate Scott's claim of actual innocence, a long shot perhaps, but one worth pursuing. New evidence surfaced. Updated witness statements. A December 2002 burglary near the Peterson home. Could this be the key to unlocking the truth? LAIP sought DNA testing on key pieces of evidence. A desperate gamble, a search for microscopic clues that could exonerate or condemn. May 2024. A judge ruled in favor of DNA testing on a piece of duct tape found on Laci's pants. A potential breakthrough, a chance to finally silence the doubts. October 2024. Scott's lawyers were granted access to a trove of evidence, audio and video recordings, transcripts of suspect interviews, handwritten police notes, the raw materials of the investigation laid bare. Scott spoke out in the Peacock docuseries Face to Face with Scott Peterson, a chance to tell his story, to plead his case to the world. He reiterated his innocence, a familiar refrain, but he also acknowledged his infidelity, a stain he could never wash away. He expressed regret for not testifying in his trial, a decision that haunted him, a missed opportunity to sway the jury. The case continues to captivate the public, a morbid fascination with true crime, with the darkness that lurks beneath the surface of everyday life. The possibility of new revelations, of unexpected legal outcomes, remains. The story of Scott Peterson is far from over. The final chapter has yet to be written.